Ronnie O'Neill, a man from Riverview, Florida, became notorious after committing a brutal double murder.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
In his 29th year, he tragically shot and killed his girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron, and their 9-year-old daughter.
Because I want you to know the actual facts. I did kill Kenyatta Barron.
After murdering them, he savagely struck his daughter with a hatchet. In an attempt to cover up his crime, he set the house on fire, but his son managed to escape despite being critically injured. The chilling 911 call from his girlfriend captured the terror of the moment. Shortly after, another call came from O'Neill himself.
911, what is your emergency? Hey, I just been attacked by some white demons inside Kiki. Kiki, her name is Kiki, and she tried to kill me. What's she at? Huh?
Remarkably, O'Neill represented himself in court, even cross-examining his own son, who was bravely testifying against him. Despite his attempt to manipulate the system, the jury convicted O'Neill of the murders. At his sentencing, the judge, visibly shaken by the case, remarked that it was one of the most disturbing she had ever seen.
19 years I've been at this job. I've seen human beings killed at the hands of others in every way imaginable. You name it, I've seen it. Shootings, stabbings, drownings, suffocatings, blown apart by cars in DUI manslaughter cases. Horrible things. This is the worst case I have ever seen as far as the facts go.
O'Neill's refusal to express remorse was chilling, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. The surviving son found a new life when he was adopted by the detective who had helped him after the incident. The tragedy of Randall Moore. Randall Moore, once a husband to Therese Ann Lynch, found himself entangled in a horrific crime after his wife sought to escape an abusive marriage. After Lynch filed for a protective order, Moore kidnapped and murdered her. During the confrontation with law enforcement, Officer Todd Rowland was shot, but he survived.
I've been hit.
Okay, 303 Adams been hit, officer down. Suspect's armed with 20 shells. Advises nobody come to the door as he will shoot again.
Moore, after a tense negotiation with 911, eventually surrendered. In court, Moore showed no remorse, and his demeanor during the trial was cold.
I'll tell you point blank, I have not 1 ounce of remorse for Therese Ann's death. It could have all been prevented. All you had to do is let me see my kid. Now you're never going to see her again.
He was found guilty of multiple felonies, including murder and kidnapping, and given 3 life sentences. Despite the pain caused to the victims' families, Moore remained indifferent, refusing to apologize for his actions.
What you did to my daughter, Therese Ann Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable. You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
Read the journal she wrote. She hated you.
Thank you, Judge.
She hated you.
Thank you.
You're a loser.
Keith Ferguson. A life destroyed in one night. Keith Ferguson, a 40-year-old man from Kalkaska, Michigan, became the center of a tragedy that shocked the community. After a heated argument with his wife, Tiffany Ferguson, he murdered her in front of their children. To make matters worse, he also killed Tiffany's father before taking the children to her parents' house. Ferguson then took a hostage in a nearby home, leading to a tense standoff with law enforcement that lasted for hours.
The defendant has already murdered multiple people and fled and has taken hostages.
During the trial, Ferguson's lack of remorse and cold attitude left everyone stunned.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, can I get you to stand up there at the podium, please? All right, I need to have you raise your right hand for me. Okay, all right.
Just put me back my
Okay, stop.
At his sentencing, Tiffany's best friend gave a powerful statement, but Ferguson's indifference to the grief he had caused was chilling.
I knew one day you would kill her. She would always reply, he loves his kids too much. He won't kill me. He loved them so much, he murdered their mother and grandfather.
He was sentenced to life without parole, his actions sealing his fate. The cold-blooded crimes of Michael Swanson. At just 17 years old, Michael Swanson went on a killing spree that left the state of Iowa in shock. In a span of an hour, Swanson entered 2 gas stations, one after the other, and murdered 2 women, Vicki Bowman Hall and Sheila Myers. Both women were shot without hesitation, and Swanson didn't seem to care about the lives he was taking. Swanson's response to the crimes was chilling when asked about his feelings during the murders, saying, "I feel powerful."
I then intentionally, deliberately, and with premeditation shot the clerk, causing her to die. I did this with a specific intent to kill her.
His lack of remorse and cold demeanor made it clear that he had no regard for life. After his arrest, he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and convicted for the crimes.